Hello everyone, welcome to Salesforce Women in Tech Group Kolkata. Thank you for joining us in on a Sunday morning. We are super thrilled for our day 4 of Service Cloud Consultant Certification Bootcamp. A very quick introduction about me. My name is Khyati Mehta. I lead the Salesforce Women in Tech Group Kolkata. I am a proud Salesforce marketing champion. I was also recently featured on Salesforce blog for my outreach work. Professionally, I work as a Salesforce developer at Cognizant Technology Solutions. I am 4x Salesforce certified. Apart from this, I do have DevOps knowledge, hence I am 2x Copado certified, 1x certified. I love everything about Salesforce and hence I'm here to share my knowledge with you guys. So let's move on to the agenda of the bootcamp. I have divided this bootcamp into 5 days with +1 Ask Me Anything session, which is the day 6 of the bootcamp. So today is day 4, which is case management. 15% of the examination will be taken by Meera R. Nair, and contact center analytics, which is 5% of the examination that will be taken by Johan. So I am sure you must be excited for the prizes. There are some mandates to win the prizes. You have to follow Salesforce Bid Group on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and all the community pages. You have to follow Appians, our sponsors, on all their social media platforms. All the links will be mentioned in the chat. You have to RSVP and attend all the 6 days of the bootcamp. Try and stay active and share your learnings. Don't forget to tag us and our sponsors over LinkedIn and Twitter, and use hashtags with Kolkata, with Bootcamp, and Trailblazer community. So we have awesome swag kits, Amazon vouchers, certification vouchers ranging from $40 to $400. So we would love your participation. The contests that we are running are: there will be 3 to 4 questions uploaded daily after the session on Salesforce with LinkedIn and Twitter page. All you need to do is follow the rules and go on and answer in the questions chat box. The second contest that we are running is you can post about your key takeaways from the session and tag us, and also use the hashtags mentioned. The third contest that we are running is you can post a video of at most 1 minute wherein you can share your learnings and what you like the best about the bootcamp. In general, spread awareness about the bootcamp. Stay active throughout the bootcamp. You never know, you might end up winning something. We are super proud to announce our sponsors, Appians, who is sponsoring our Service Cloud Consultant Certification Bootcamp. We have Hasti representing Appians. Over to you, Hasti.
Hi everyone, welcome to day 4 of Service Cloud Bootcamp. I'm sure you all are geared up for today's session. I'm Hasti from Team Effians. We are Salesforce registered partners. We have and are working with some of the highly reputed organizations and companies globally. We are extremely happy to be a part of this wonderful community and super excited to be sponsoring this event. I hope you all are set up to learn from the subject experts and win amazing swags, gifts, and Amazon vouchers on the successful completion of the bootcamp. That said, Effians organizes bi-monthly LinkedIn Live events where we invite industry experts and leaders to share their insights and wisdom about all things Salesforce. And our upcoming event is on 1st of October, which is coming Friday, where we are inviting Mr. Anil Pilania, and we are going to be talking about all things marketing cloud. So I'll be linking the event link in the comment section, and you can register yourselves. It is going to be a super exciting session, so please do join. And make sure to follow us on all our social media handles to stay updated for more such exciting stuff. Happy learning.
Thank you so much, Hasti. Thank you, Appians, for sponsoring us. Let's move on to today's speakers. We have Meera R. Nair, who will be taking case management. She is a proud Salesforce MVP. She leads Trivandaram WIT Group. She is also a solution architect at UST. She is a SIMA organization and a Trailhead mentor. The second speaker for the day is Johan Furman. He is an all-rounder. He's a dev, architect, and admin who will be taking contact center analytics, which is 16% of the examination. So over to you, Meera.
Thank you so much, Khyati. Let me start sharing my screen, and please let me know once you can see it.
Sure. Also, guys, please feel free to post in your questions over the chat box. We'll be taking all the questions after the session ends. Meera, your screen is visible.
Okay. Thank you all and a very good morning to everyone. So like Kathy mentioned, myself Meera Nair, and I'm currently working as a Salesforce architect at UST. And today I will be talking about case management in Service Cloud. This is our agenda for today. I will be giving you an exam outline, like how much percentage of total exam percentage will be contributed by case management. Then some advantages of Service Cloud implementation, case basis, how to set up support process for cases, entitlement setup, and some productivity tools that we can use in service consoles. So this will be our agenda for today. I hope you have seen the exam outline already, and in that case management contribution is 15%, and these are the things which we should cover as part of case management. I will try to cover at least 80% of this today because case management is a very vast topic. I will try to cover as much as possible, and let me know in case of any questions. So I hope this is the fourth session and you have already attended 3 sessions. By now, you should know like what are the advantages of Service Cloud or why we need Service Cloud. So this is basically to support customers by any organization, right? And as per the study or as per the percentage details given by Salesforce, this is the increase or improve in performance after using Service Cloud. That is 40% increase in agent productivity, 41% faster first contact resolution, 34% increase in customer retention. These are some of the advantages of implementing Salesforce Service Cloud. And what are some of the basic features of Service Cloud which will give us this kind of productivity? Of course, the case implementation and the case routing process. Then you will be able to respond to cases via any social channel. Implementation of omni-channel, where service agents will be automatically assigned to cases based on their availability. Customer 360 view, where we will be bringing in all sales and service information together in a single view, and customer agents will be getting a 360 view of the customer before they answer to a particular customer actually. And field service lightning, where agents can go to particular site and try to solve the issues for customers. Knowledge articles, availability of knowledge articles where users or this will be useful for both customers and agents actually, where they will be getting details of what are the use cases or what are the details of how they will be able to resolve a particular issue. And most importantly, self-service portal for customers, where they will be able to find out solution of some of their questions or some of their queries. And availability of macros in service console, we will be seeing this later, and live agent implementation. So these are some features available in Service Cloud, which is giving this productivity to agents. Now, let us get started with case implementation basics. So what is a case? You can share in chat, like what is your understanding of a case? I would love to hear that. Yeah. So case is, it can be a simple inquiry from a customer, or it can be an issue raised by a customer. Inquiry meaning they might be calling to understand something about a particular product. Issue can be raised when there is some problem with the product they purchase. For example, you are buying a laptop, and if you want to understand some details about the warranty, that's an inquiry. But if there is a problem with the battery of your laptop, it is not getting charged, or there is some issue like that, that is an issue. And in either of the case, you might be reaching out to the support person. It can be through any channel, right? Sometimes you might be logging in or filing a case through the website of that particular uh, client or particular customer. Or sometimes you might be reaching out to the service agent through a call, or it can be through a chat. Most of the sites are providing chat also. So there are multiple channels by which you will be able to raise a case. And once a case is created, to whom it will be assigned? It can be assigned to a queue or it can be assigned to a single agent. Later, we'll be seeing how to set up queues and how the assignment will be working. And then there is entitlement. Entitlement means defining SLA. For each of the customer who purchased the product, there will be an entitlement, meaning for how long you will have support from this particular, for how long you will be having support for this particular purchase product, and uh, what type of support you are entitled to. Like, are you able to get support through web, or it is through phone, how long, or what is, within how many hours you are expected to see a result of the case or case resolution, how escalation will be happening. So all these things will be defined within an entitlement. Later we can see how we will be able to define an entitlement, how it is going to work. Then escalation process. Escalation means, suppose a case is created and no one is attending that for one day. In that case, you would like that case to be escalated to the next level. For that, you will be able to set up a process that is called escalation process. And whenever there is a suggestion from Salesforce that for each of the cases, you will be defining a support process. So that support process, before you actually roll it out, you need to do a pilot test with a smaller group of users to make sure that it is working as expected. This is how a scale support process flow will looks like. Nothing complex. You can see when a case is getting created, it will be assigned to an agent. So what the agent will be doing? The agent will be going and verifying the entitlement associated with that particular customer to see if he is actually eligible for support. If that particular customer is eligible for support, the agent will be working on the case, identifying the resolution, and the resolution details will be communicated to the customer through a phone call or through email or through any media. Once it is communicated, if the customer confirms that the case is resolved, in that case, the case will be marked as closed. If it is not yet resolved, the agent is going to rework on the case along with the customer. This will be happening as a cycle here. And suppose the customer is not satisfied with the resolution, there is an option to escalate it. So in that case, the case will be escalated and it will be assigned to a high priority queue or something like that. And it will be a separate team then who will be working on this particular cases. Again, the cycle will get repeated. This is how a normal case support process will be happening. This is an example of a case support process, and we are going to see all the implementation details based on this particular scenario. In our case, we are going to see two types of cases. That is, like I mentioned, it can be an inquiry or it can be an issue with a product. So two types of cases we are going to see. One is inquiry and one is product support. In both the cases, let us see what is going to happen. When a case is raised and if it is product support, it will be entering the product support process set up within the system. And the case is going to be assigned to a product support team. It will be a queue set up in our system. And the support agent is going to see all the cases assigned to that particular queue. And there will be associated process also, which is going to complete that cycle. Similarly, inquiry is also going to follow the same process. Now let us see how we can set up a case support process for both inquiry and product support. In this particular slide, you will be seeing all the basic setup, and in the next slide, we are going to see how to set up entitlement process. So as part of basic setup, what all things we are going to do? We are going to create a support process. A support process is nothing but we are going to define a flow, and mainly it will be differentiated based on a case status. So we need to have specific case status mentioned for a support process which is getting created. Then we if there are multiple support process, in our case, we have got two type of process, one for inquiry, one for product support. In that case, we need to create two separate page layouts because there might be difference in the fields that we need to display on the page layout. Since we have got two separate page layout, to assign that based on conditions, you need to create two separate record types. And you need to have you need to update the page layout assignment based on this record types. Then we need to set up queues in the system for each type of cases, and we need to create assignment rules also. If required, we can set up escalation rules, and we will see like how we can utilize a flow or process builder to actually set up additional process for a particular case. On right hand side, what you are seeing is the escalation process, a normal escalation process, where the case might get assigned to a separate queue. So let us see how we can do all this setup. This is my trailhead play org actually. So like I mentioned, the first step is to do a case support process setup. For that, what you need to do is go to service setup, and here search for support process. You can see support process here, open this, and here I have already created two support process like I mentioned, one for inquiry, one for product support process. Let us open this and see what all details we have as part of support process. So this is the one corresponding to inquiry. And like I mentioned, the difference between different support processes is based on the availability of status. So you will be able to mention status is a standard field available in case object. So I have added some additional values also as part of that particular case status, like product defect logged, fixed, escalated, things like that. So in inquiry, we don't need product defect related details. We just need the basic status values like new, working, on hold, and closed. So we have selected only those values for an inquiry process. But if we go to a product support process, like I mentioned, we need to have product defect related status also. So that is what mentioned for a product support process. And creating a new support process is very simple. You just need to click on new, and you need to select a master process if needed, like existing support process from which you will be able to create a new process. If you don't need to select anything, just keep it as empty, and you can simply create a support process. Once it is created, you will be able to select the available pick list values for that. By this, you have created a support process. Now, since we have created a support process, what is the next step that we mentioned? It is to create separate page layout for these two support processes. For that, we need to go to Object Manager, open case, go to page layout, case page layouts, and here you can see I have already created two page layouts, one for inquiry and one for product support. I hope you are very clear on how to create a new case page layout. It is as simple as just clicking on a new button, then selecting an existing page layout, entering a name. So that is going to create a new page layout for us. And just opening inquiry case page layout. In this scenario, there is not much difference between these two page layout other than available of some additional fields in product. So we have the page layout created already. And for cases, you might also need to set up case cross page layouts also. Here, I'm not going to those details because we are more concentrating on the basic process setup. And as the next step, what you need to do is create record types. So corresponding to inquiry and product support, I have created two separate record types. Then what is the advantage of having record types? Two things, like to control assignment of page layouts, you need a record type. The second thing is you can also control the pick list values which are available for each of the record type. In our case, we have got case type, which is a standard Salesforce field. And for this particular record type for product support, you can see the different pickles values will be listed down as part of the record type. And if you edit the type, you can see for a product support, the available case types are feature request, question, and problem. Whereas for an inquiry, it will be different. Maybe I can go back and show you quickly like what are the values available for inquiry. Go to type. Again, you can see for an inquiry, the different case types are shipping, warranty, product, and other. So we have now the product, page notes got created. We have record types got created. Next, what you need to do, go to page layouts and update page layout assignment so that we will be having the correct record type assigned to the correct page layout. So here you can see I have updated it already. For inquiry, record type will be assigned with inquiry case layout and product support will be assigned with product support case layout. So the basic setup is done. Now what we need to do? Once the case is created with a particular record type, it should be assigned to someone. Like I mentioned, it can get assigned to a queue or it can get assigned to an agent. In our case, we are going to assign to queue. For that, what we need to do is create queues and assign users who will be working on the queue. So for our flow, we have three separate queues, one for inquiry and two for product support. If you open inquiry, you can see there is a queue email associated with the inquiry queue and the supported object is case. Then you will have users assigned to that particular queue. Now, if you go back and open product support tier 1, similar to the previous setup, you have queue email assigned and also user setup for that. Now, you might be thinking why we need to have one more queue for product support. This is basically for escalation process. That is, if a case is initially when a product support case is getting created, it will be assigned to the product support tier 1. And if we need to escalate it based on a criteria, it will be assigned to the tier 2. That's why we have a second queue for product support. Once the queue is set up, what is the next step? You need to have an assignment process by which a newly created case is going to get assigned to a particular queue. For that, let us open case assignment rule. So there is a standard case assignment active rule, which I created already. And you can see two different entries here. So based on the criteria, it is going to get assigned to a particular queue. The first criteria is that the case record types equals inquiry. So let us go and see what is happening in this case. So the criteria is case record type equals inquiry. In that case, you will be able to assign this to a queue or user. In our case, we are going to assign this to a queue. And here you will be able to select the previously created inquiry queue. That's what happening here. And if you go back to the second rule and see what is happening within the second rule, it is checking for the criteria case record type. If the case record type equals product support, in that case, the case is going to get assigned to product support tier 1. This is how we have set up the case assignment rule. And if you want to add an additional one based on some other criteria, you can simply go to the case assignment rule setup, click on new and mention the sort order, like what is the execution order for the newly created. You can mention the criteria like we have done before. Here you will be able to mention criteria and then you can select the queue to which this should be assigned. That's how you will be creating a new case assignment rule. Now I will quickly show you the escalation rule that we set up for this particular product support. For that, you need to open escalation rules from the setup, and you can see like I have already created a standard escalation, and let me go and edit the rule and see what is happening here. So the rule criteria is that if the case record types equals product support and case status is new, that is if this is a newly created case. In that case, we will be able to associate an escalation as action with this. Similar to a workflow, right? In workflow, when you are creating a new workflow, you will be able to associate actions to that. Similar to that, we have a new escalation and you will be able to associate action to that. For that, you will be able to click on new and you can mention what is the age, that is after how many hours or how many minutes you should be having this escalation process running, and to whom the case should be assigned in that case, and who should be notified in the case of escalation. That are the details that you are going to set up as part of escalation rules. Let us see this already set up escalation rule. And here the escalation rule is going to fire after 4 hours of creation of this case. And this is going to get assigned to the product support tier to queue, which is the escalation queue that we have created. And in notify users, you can select any user who should be notified in case of an escalation, and you can select a notification template also. This is how the escalation rule we will be able to set up in the system. Once this is set up, the basic setup for case is done. Now what is next? Like I mentioned, if you want to have additional processing on a case based on a specific criteria, you can have that created through process builders or flows. I can show you an example of process builder, but you might be remembering, like as part of Dreamforce, we had an announcement that process builders will get retired in 2023. So better don't create any new process builders. Instead, create your process using flow itself. This was an existing thing in my system, so I will show you how the process builder will be helping us to extend some process for the case creation. So I want to set up a notification in case of case getting created for a large account. That was the scenario. A large account means like here you should select the object in which the process builder should fire, and I have the criteria set up here. So criteria, I have got 2 criteria to define a large account. One is based on the annual revenue. If the annual revenue is greater than a particular value, or the number of employees in that particular account is greater than a particular value. And in either of this case, we will be considering this as a large account. And if a case is getting created for this kind of account, we are going to send a notification to a particular user. That's what we have set up as part of this particular process builder. You will be able to create any kind of rule based on your requirement. Later, I will show you the demo of how a case will be created, how all the setup that we have done will be working when the case is set up. But before going to that, let us complete or let us see the entitlement setup also. So what is entitlement? We briefly discuss what is an entitlement, right? Entitlement helps reps understand the level of service customers are entitled to based on their SLA. So it depends, like, if you are entitled to avail only phone support or it is web support, and what is the criteria? Sometimes you might need to define like within 4 hours of creation of a particular case, it should be resolved. Or within 16 hours, low or medium critical cases should be resolved. So all those kind of criteria you will be able to set up as part of entitlement. So you need to enable entitlement actually as part of setup. Once that is enabled, then only you will be able to create entitlement. And in addition to an entitlement, there is something else called entitlement process. So entitlement process provides a timeline for support agents, giving the steps that needs to be completed in order to resolve a case. Like I mentioned, the different steps, like within 4 hours, you should send a first email notification, or within 16 hours, you should close a case. So there are different steps you will be able to mention. All the steps are called milestones. You will be able to set up this as part of milestone. And once the milestones are created, you will be able to add that to an entitlement process. So this basically define an entitlement process. Like once a user calls a support agent, like we mentioned, they might be checking in the system to see if the particular customer is entitled to receive that particular support. If it is, they are entitled to receive, the support agent will be supporting that particular user. But how to set up entitlement process? There are four main steps associated to entitlement setup. So first thing, like I mentioned, we need to create each step associated to an entitlement process. So it is called milestone. So milestone should be created first. Once the milestones are created, you can create a new entitlement process. Entitlement process does not contain much details other than just a name and some additional information. And once the entitlement process is created, you will be able to associate the previously created milestone with this entitlement process and define specific action. That is workflows, like what should happen when the entitlement is satisfied or it is not met. There are different criteria, so we can see all these details, like how to set up. Again, let us go back to our org. And there is something called entitlement settings, like I mentioned. So you need to enable entitlement process to start with all the processing. Once it is set up, let us create milestones first. If you go to milestone, there are multiple you can see, but in our case, we are actually taking care of just two, like first response and resolution time. Let us open each of this and see like what details we have as part of these two milestones. It's again just a placeholder. You don't have any process defined as part of this milestone. This is just a step that we are going to associate to a particular entitlement process. So first response milestone, it just contains the name and the recurrence. Like recurrence type defines for a particular case how many times this milestone might get executed. So in our case, it's just one, and just a description. Similar for the resolution also, resolution time milestone, just the details. Later, we will be seeing how we need to add actions for each of the milestone. Once the milestone is created, what we need to do is create an entitlement process. So if we go to entitlement process, we can see different type of entitlement. And let us go to platinum support and see what does that mean. So this is a platinum support entitlement for customers, meaning whichever account for type is platinum, this particular entitlement process will be getting executed. This one is getting created with some basic setup. So let me edit this. We don't have much details to populate here, just the entitlement process name and how the case should enter the process, like just based on the created date and when it should exit based on a particular criteria. That is, when the case is closed, the entitlement process will end for that particular case. So we have the basic setup, or we have created the entitlement process. As a next step, you will be able to associate milestones to this particular entitlement. And let me open the first response. So what you are doing here is just associating the created first response milestone with this particular entitlement process. And once that is associated, you will be able to add actions for this particular milestone. Like I mentioned, there are three types of actions that you can associate it associate with a milestone. One is success action, meaning once that once that step is completed for a particular case, what should happen? There are warning action. Warning means before reaching out to or before reaching that particular milestone, what should happen? And violation action, like if that particular step action is not satisfied or not executed, what should happen? This is what will be happening as part of this particular action. And in our case, this milestone should get executed after 60 minutes of your case creation. That is the first response time, meaning once a case is created, within 60 minutes, that rep should contact that customer, that particular customer. That's what defined within this particular milestone. And before reaching 60 minutes, that is at 50 minutes, we are going to send a reminder email to the agent telling there is a case associated with that. So this is our first milestone associated with this particular platinum support entitlement process. We have got one more milestone, which is for resolution time. So this defines when the call resolution or the case resolution should happen. Here it is for 80 minutes, which is almost 8 hours. So this is the second milestone. And if the criteria is if the account support level is platinum, then this will be firing. That means within 8 hours after the case creation, this case should be resolved. Again, here I have not added any process, but you will be able to add additional time trigger to remind the user, or in case of violation, if you want to escalate this one, even you can do that. So different kind of process you will be able to associate with this entitlement process. Now, once everything is set up, we have the entitlement process, milestone, everything set up in the system. Now, what we should do? We need to create an entitlement. So, how to create an entitlement? For that, we need to go to our service app, and we need to make sure that this entitlement is added as part of your service app. For that, you just need to go to app manager, edit the service app, and make sure this entitlement tab is added to your app through your app manager. Once it is added, you can go to entitlement, and you can see I have already created an entitlement for an account called Edge Communications. So what details it contain? It just contain details like the entitlement name, the type of support. So here, if you see types of support, there are different types. Like it can be phone support or it can be web support. The entitlement will be created for a particular customer. So in our case, our customer or account is Edge Communications. So for Edge Communication, we have created this entitlement. And the process, entitlement process associated to this particular entitlement is platinum support. So we have created a new entitlement and associated it to a customer called Edge Communications. And the creation is also the same. This is an already created entitlement. If you want to create a new, the details that you need to mention are entitlement name, the account or the customer for which the entitlement process is going to happen, and what is the associated entitlement process. Only this basic details you need to populate and an entitlement will be created. Now, if you want to create a new case utilizing this entitlement, you can go to open the entitlement, go to the related list of that particular entitlement. You can see case related list there. From this related list, you will be able to create a new case. So since we have set up two types of cases, one is product support and one is inquiry. So we will be able to select either of the record type from here. In my case, I'm going to create a product support. So let us select product support. Once this is selected, you will be given all the details that should be populated to create this particular case. In our case, Edge Communication is the account. Status is new itself. Priority medium, that is perfectly fine. And case origin, we are going to mark it as phone. Subject, I'm just mentioning like a battery is not working. Enter some description. Now, you need to populate other reasons also. The type of this particular case, it's a problem because the battery is not working, and the product for which the failure is happening is batteries, and the case reason is breakdown because the battery is not working. So we have populated all the details corresponding to that case or the complaint the customer is having. Let us save this now. Case got created. Let me open the case and see like if all our setup are working correctly. Remember, we had a case assignment rule to assign this particular product support cases to product support tier 1 team. So that happened here. You can see the case is now assigned to a product support tier 1 team. And account is Edge Communications. We have an entitlement process also created. So the entitlement process start time also mentioned here. Now, the remaining time and all other details you will be able to see as part of milestones. So as soon as this case is created, a milestone will be getting displayed as part of your feed, and it won't be coming by default. To add this milestone, you need to edit this particular case layout and drag and drop this milestone to the page. Because of the time constraint, I'm not showing you those details, but that is how you need to add this. And you can see the milestone time remaining. First response, you have got 58 minutes and 43 seconds remaining before this should be completed. Remember, we had an escalation rule also. Let us go and see if we have escalation already created corresponding to this case. The criteria was that whenever a new case is created and the status is new, we will be having an escalation. So there is something called monitoring case escalations. If you go to this and search for case escalations, you can see all the escalations corresponding to the cases. So you can see there is a case to escalate and escalation action 4 hours from now. So it's also there. Now, what we can do here is milestone is there, right? So if the agent started working on this particular case, he can update the case status from new to working, right? That means the first case contact has been completed. In that case, in the milestone, you will be able to mark this as completed. You can see as soon as the first step is completed, the milestone step got updated with the next step, which is resolution time, meaning within 8 hours of creation, this particular case should be resolved. So that is giving you an indication to the service agent on what should happen within this particular case when it should be resolved. So this is an easy approach by which the agent will be able to work on this particular case. And now we need to go back and check our escalation also, because our criteria was that if the case is not updated or the customer is not contacted by the agent, then only the escalation should happen. Let us go back to this particular escalations, refresh and see if okay, let me refresh the page. Let us refresh and see if the case escalation is still part of the queue. You don't have anything as part of the queue because the escalation for this case, it is no more satisfying the criteria. So we don't have that particular case. So I hope by now you are clear like how to set up a base case setup flow, including the support process creation, page layouts, record types, page layout assignment, update of case type, creation of queues, assignment rules, escalation process, creating milestones, creation of entitlement process, how to associate an entitlement process to a particular customer, and then how when you are creating a case, how this whole cycle is going to happen. I hope at least from a high level you are clear with the flow. Now let us go back. And we have already seen all these different flows process on how to utilize an entitlement once it is created. Now we will quickly see some productivity tools available for support agents as part of Service Console. I hope I won't take much time. Two of them are cube text and macros. Let us see what is this and where you will be able to utilize this. Cube text is nothing but a predefined message like a greeting, note, phrase, or something like that, which you will be able to reuse as part of multiple operations. It can be reused as part of a new email, chat, or at many places you will be able to utilize this. So let us go and see how to create a cube text. For that, you need to enable cube text and you need to have permission to create cube text. You can create a permission set with cube text create update permission and assign to a user, or at profile level of itself, you will be able to enable those permissions. Once that is created, you will have permission to create new cube text. So you can see cube text here, and you will be able to create new cube text from here. I have a created one already called solar panel. So the only thing is, this is the message that you will be able to utilize as part of cube text. And you need to have at least one merge field available as part of this particular message. Now let us go and see once this cube text is created, how we will be able to utilize this. And only thing that you need to take care is that when we are creating a cube text, you also need to choose where all you will be able to utilize this particular cube text. In my case, I selected email only, but these are the other places where you will be able to utilize this cube text. Let me go back and remember these features are for Service Console. So let us open console. I hope you know what is a console, right? This is the place where the agent will be seeing all the case details and working on a particular case. The live agent, or the omni-channel, everything will be working here only. Now, this, okay, we have got a case already available here. And if you go to email, I can send a new email from here. When you are sending a new email, this is where you will be able to utilize cube text. You are getting an option called insert cube text. And once you click on that, all your available cube text will be listed down here. You can select an existing cube text, and automatically the message which is available as part of cube text will be getting populated here. So how, you understand like how easily you will be able to have messages reused as part of multiple places or multiple process. This is the use of cube text. Now let us see macros. So what is macros? Macros is a set of instructions that tells the system how to complete a task. So this is again a uh, reusable process. Like if you want to do a repetitive task in multiple places or in multiple cases, you can create it as a macro, and you can simply run the macro as part of that case, and automatically the process will be happening within that particular case. Let us see how to create a macro. So for that, again, you need to do some setup changes to enable macros in your system and add that as part of utility bar. So once it is enabled, once you have set up macros as part of this, once you at the bottom you can see this macros utility. You can click here, and you will be getting an option to create a new macro. All the available macros you will be able to see here. Click on this plus button, and you will be. I'm just creating a test macro. And just you need to select to which object this macro is getting applied. So in our case, it's case. So I have chosen case here. You can save this. Once it is saved, there are instructions that you need to mention, or you need to mention in the macro so that it will understand what it should do. For that, you need to click on edit instructions. In edit instructions, you can mention the steps. In my case, I want to send out an email notification from a particular case. That is the action I would like to do as part of this particular macro. For that, what you need to do is on the left-hand side, the case detail page will be showing. So the new macro creation should happen from a case detail page. Once you are in a case detail page, click on this, you will be seeing this option, And once you click on email, you can see automatically on the right hand side, the action got added, select email action. And once the email operation is selected, I can select insert email template option also here. And you can choose a particular template that should be executed from here. Once the template is selected, now in that case, we have pre-populated with an already available template. And what we need to do next? Once the email template is selected, you need to send this email. For that, click on next. Click on send. Once you click on send, automatically that step will be added as a submit action. Remember, there is a warning here, meaning once this macro is done, the email will be sent automatically, and this is an irreversible operation. Meaning once the email is sent, it is sent. You won't be able to do anything on that. This is how you will be able to create a macro. Now, let me go back and show you like how you will be able to utilize this macro. I am on this particular case, and you can open this macro and you will get an option to run macro. So what it is doing, send email notification for case escalation. This is sample macro we have created, and you can click on run macro. So the macro will be running. Basically, it is going to send an email notification with the mentioned criteria and done. So if you go back and probably check your mail, you will be getting email notification. I hope that, yeah. So you can see like, already an email notification I have received as part of this. Sorry, this was the one which was an escalation email notification. So the macro run, you can see how many clicks we have saved. Otherwise, you could have clicked on send email option, selected the email template, selected the user. There are multiple steps that you need to do. All those operation, all those clicks we have saved by creating a macro for that particular activity. This is how we will be able to improve agent productivity. There are so many other tools like this which you will be able to utilize, which can improve the agent productivity. Mass quick action is another thing. Quick actions, I hope you know what is a quick action. It is available as part of any object, and once you go to the setup object manager, you select case, and under buttons you will be able to create a new action. You just need to mention what kind of operation you need to perform. In our case, if we need to update a record based on a particular criteria, you can create that. Once that is created, maybe I can. Once that is created, you will be given with a page layout where you can mention which are the fields that should be displayed as part of this particular mass action. And once that is created, you need to go to your list view. Where is list view? One second. Okay, sales layouts. In sales layouts, you will be able to add that particular action to list view. So I have already an action created called replacement owner, which is to update owner of existing cases. So once it is created, if you go to case record or case homepage, I'm opening case list view. Once you are in the list view, you can select multiple cases, then click on the quick action that we have created. Here it is replacement owner. So once it is created, the advantage here is that you can update owner of those created user. Currently, I think it is assigned to me. I can select another user, and I can update owner of this multiple cases. So you will be getting a message like 3 records are going to updated. So you can see like bulk operation happened easily by creating a quick action. This is one of the operation, and there is something else also called keyboard shortcut keys, which you will be able to utilize as part of service console to open or understand what are the shortcut keys available in Service Console, you just need to go to Salesforce Help, and there is something called View Keyboard Shortcuts. Once you click on that, you will be seeing a set of keyboard shortcut keys here. To open it, actually, you can either take it from Help, or even there is keyboard shortcut key available to open this from a console. As part of Windows system, it is just Control plus slash. You can see it is open now. So these are some productivity tools you will be able to utilize to improve the productivity of agents. There are many more, but because of time constraint, we won't be able to cover everything. In addition to the trailhead modules mentioned as part of Service Cloud exam, there are some additional links you might need to go through. This is a link to understand how you will be able to create macro, quick text, etc. Yeah, that is what I hope I was able to cover at least majority portions of case management. If there are some questions, we can take a look at that.
Yes, thank you so much, Meera, for such an insightful session. We do have some questions for you. The first is, what is the difference between a response time and resolution time?
Okay, response time means the first time the agent is contacting the customer to get some additional information on the case. That is the response time. Resolution time means the time taking to close the case. The case is closed actually.
Hope that's clear for you, Nidhi. The second question is, if case is on high priority, then can we give age over as 0 so that it can get escalated immediately?
Can you repeat the question?
If case is on high priority, then can
Okay,
we give age as 0 so that it can get escalated immediately?
we will be able to. We will be able to define that in multiple ways. Yes.
Okay. The next question is, what's the difference between service contract and entitlement?
Service contract basically defines like, I think I have got it here somewhere. Let me quickly open and show you how you will be able to create a service contract. Service contract basically defines like for how long a particular customer is allowed to receive support from for a particular product. But engagement process defines for it can be for a particular product. So service contract is overall, but engagement process can be for a particular product, particular process. It defines multiple for you, but service contract come on top of all those, if my understanding is correct.
Okay. The next question is, how to add time trigger in minutes?
Time trigger in minutes. It is on actions.
Not sure. Sumit, can you please confirm on it? This next question is, can we create case from external systems?
Yes, okay. I thought you people have already covered things like web to case, email to case, by which you will be able to create cases from different systems and external systems. That is covered already, right, Khyadi?
Yes.
Okay, some people that's why I didn't cover those portion. So just you can look into like how to utilize web to case, email to case features to achieve that.
Yes. The next question is, can we make the case milestones, targets, response time configurable?
Target, yes, that's what we have also done. Like, I have updated initial milestone, it was 60 minutes. Those all are configurable. Like you can mention how whichever minutes, hours you wanted, but I think it should be always in minutes.
Yes. The last question is, does entitlement process overrides escalation rule? How they coexist?
Both are separate process actually. They like escalation rule basically, like I mentioned, it is to escalate a case based on a particular criteria. Entitlement process just defines, like both are not dependent. I think when I demoed, you might got confused because I was showing it together. Both of them don't have connection actually.
Thank you so much, Meera, for such an insightful session again. Thank you, participants. You can post your questions if any. Meera can take after Johan's session. We have Johan here. We'll be taking contact center analytics, which is 5% of the examination. Over to you, Johan.
Morning. Now here we go. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm honestly tired. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. No, 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. But I'm super excited because we talked today about reports. First of all, thanks a lot, Mara, for the great introduction, for the great topic. I've been doing Salesforce now for 10 years, and everything Mara talked about, I do on a regular basis. So this is not only for your certification, this is for everyday work. And today, I talk about Service Cloud Analytics. So, but maybe back to you first, Gieta.
Start with the presentation. You can share the screen.
Thank you. Okay. So, let me share my screen. That's it. So, are you on my screen?
Yet it's blank for me. Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Let me get started. So, I want to put a disclaimer here. I cannot match the level of detail Mira did, and everything I'm talking about is based on my working experience as well as my study and my certification knowledge. It's not meant to replace studying. So please go ahead, go into Trailhead, do your own study, go on to Focus on Force. This is not meant to make you pass the exam. This is an introduction, and this is also a higher level overview of why we actually do it and how we do it. But the devil lays in the details, and this is nothing I could cover today in my presentation. I hope this is okay for everyone in the group. So this is not a hands-holding session. This is my personal experience. Do you see here reports and dashboard make Salesforce magic? Why do we actually do these Salesforce projects? Why do we do a Service Cloud project? There's many different reasons. We want to optimize processes, of course, but we also need to report on these processes. I have been working in different Berlin-based startups for the last 10 years. And one thing I learned about all these startups, they are numbers driven. Reports and dashboards allow the user, the manager, the team lead, the CEO, but also business analysts, operations managers, Salesforce admins to make informed decisions. And this is where this Service Cloud Analytics, or I like to call them reports and dashboard, come into place. Before we go into into details, the exam guideline should always be your Bible. In this case, we have two high-level points. It's only 5% of the exam. Nevertheless, it's, I think, an important topic. The first one is determine the appropriate reporting solution, and the second one is designed to serve different stakeholders. And these 2 points we will cover today in a little bit more detail. I have been working in different factories throughout my university and my youth, so I see almost everything as a factory line. And a service center is nothing else than a factory. We have input, which is unhappy customers. Then we have to do some work, which is we start the service interaction, we finish the service interaction, and as an output, we have happy customers. Looks simple. It's kind of simple if you look at it like this way. And as an owner of a service center or as a factory or as any company, we have two goals. We want to spend less and we want to make more. This is how we make revenue. Spend less than you make. We have to increase the agent productivity to spend less, and we have to improve the customer service to make more money, because more happy customers mean more revenue. And in front of that background, we will look at at reporting and dashboards at Service Cloud Analytics today. So we have two main categories. The first one is, again, to spend less, is the internals. What are agents actually doing with their time? How effective and efficient agents use their time? How much time they need to get their work done? And externally is, how happy are the customers afterwards? We can usually measure in with CSAT or NPS. And that's already it in a nutshell. This one, you see it here, walk before you run. This is, I find, almost the toughest topic, because it's very tempting to build 1 million records, and I have done that honestly, and I have seen that many times in the companies I did, that we created many different reports. But at the end of the day, or dashboards, it's very important that you understand your baseline numbers first, the walk part, before you build complex reports and numbers. And a couple of baseline numbers are: walk, average handle time, which means how long does it take an agent from start to finish of a case, which is between the status a case is open at the time a status is open to the time a case is closed. Customer satisfaction, how happy are the customers afterward? First contact resolution, how often can we close a case the first time we judge it? It's really important, because every time you hand over a case, you lose a lot of efficiency. First response time, how long does it take us to respond to a case, to a customer after they submitted their request? We all know how annoying it is if you submit a case and it takes a week for the company to come back. And the last one is actually my favorite one, the total number of cases. These are your bread and butter, your baseline numbers. But once you have done them, let's say half a year, 2 years, and your company optimized on them, we can do a little bit more detailed questions. Customer satisfaction again, but also agent satisfaction, really important, because you have a high turnover rate oftentimes in service centers. The less turnover, the less money you spend. Total cases versus the backlogged cases. You still have to work on data. The net promoter score is how likely is another customer satisfaction score, time to resolution, and the last one is agent turnover. Really, really important number. I can only say here from Germany, we have the issue that some of our some cities, whole cities, ran out of service agent employees, because there have been a couple of call centers which did such a bad job in agent satisfaction that they burned through all possible service center employees. So agent turnover is a really and they had to close down the service centers in these cities. Agent turnover is a really important number, but this is nothing you can measure in Salesforce, for example. We have different ways of reporting. The first one is Salesforce Reports. This is our bread and butter. This is where we get detailed. But then we have dashboards, which give us a higher level overview. I mean, I assume here everybody in the group is an admin. Everybody here knows how to build reports and dashboards. I think this is nothing I have to show you. If not, please let me know, and we will go a little bit into reports and dashboards afterwards. The next one is app exchange, buy instead of build. That means somebody else took time and already pre-built a set of reports and dashboards, especially for Service Cloud implementations. Absolutely worth to checking out. There's a couple of really great free app exchange packages which contain a number of great reports. If you want to get into more fancy, if you have to report on multiple data sources, go into Tableau CRM, or as it's sometimes called, Einstein Analytics. So every time you see Einstein Analytics, it actually means Tableau CRM. It was renamed at some place. Please don't get confused. Einstein Discovery is the next one. This is magic. This is like pure magic. What you do is you give Einstein Discovery a set of data and tell it what to optimize for. For example, to optimize for average handle time. And then Einstein Discovery does all the number crunching for you and gives you answers, explanations, and recommendations. It's really amazing. It's really, really magic. But it takes a lot of knowledge, and it takes not a lot of knowledge, but some knowledge. And the last one is Service Analytics app. This is actually a pre-built template based on Tableau CRM, which you can use easily and have almost a really fancy, really good looking, high level management level overview of your service center. And with that, I already want to go over to coming back to why service center as a factory. If we put everything down now to what we just talked about, we can see where all these numbers come into place. Unhappy customers at the beginning. We can see how many total cases are open. If the number is sharply increasing, maybe something is wrong with our products. Start service interaction. How long does it take until we touch a case the first time? Or how often can we close a case the first time we touch it. Finish service interaction. How long does it take us from start to finish for a case? And happy customers. How many customers are actually happy after we did our service processes? So at the end, this is just a couple of the numbers. We have to look at it. I want to re-emphasize, walk before you run. Don't overcomplicate your reporting because dashboards, this happened to me in the past. I was over eager to build as many reports as possible, the company as well, and we reported on everything. Focus on a couple of core KPIs, make sure you have them under control, you understand them properly, everybody in the company follows them, and once you have done that, you step up your game, you run, and you do more detailed analysis. And now I go a little bit into detail on the certification. Given a set of desired metrics, determine the appropriate reporting solution, taking into account data sources, data volume, and various contact center technologies. So we have to determine the appropriate reporting solution. While there goes a lot of detailed questions we have, I think we can use an easy decision tree by asking ourselves 3 different questions. The first one is, where is the data? If it's the data in Salesforce, reports and dashboards. If the data is outside of Salesforce, for example, in a call center and has to be combined with Salesforce data, for example, in a CTI, in a telephony system, in some backend system, in some financial system, then we have to use Tableau CRM. How to display the data? If we need the details, then we use reports, but if we need trends and overviews, we use dashboards. And lastly, what is the data volume? Is the data volume low to medium, something like a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand records, Salesforce? If it's high, also medium to high, from a couple of thousand to millions of records, it's Tableau CRM. And with these 3 questions, we already can make a pretty good educated guess which reporting solution we should use. Of course, sometimes requirements which point you into one direction or another. And now the next one is about stakeholders. We have given a scenario, evaluate the considerations with designing reports and dashboards to serve different stakeholders: agents, supervisors, managers, and executives. And this is a good point. This is usually the 4 different stakeholders we have within a company. Agents, they want to usually see detailed view about their work, my resolved cases, which means reports and dashboards. Supervisors, team productivity and workload, a slightly higher overview. This means, again, reports and dashboards, this time open cases, average handle time, and so forth today. Managers, they need tactical decisions. They need something like CSAT, escalation, priority. Again, usually reporting and dashboards within Salesforce. And lastly, executives, they need strategic decisions, high-level trends, oftentimes clean data. Oftentimes the data has to be combined with different sources from different systems. This means we go into Tableau CRM and use high-level dashboards and trend reports. And this already concludes almost my presentation. It's only 5% of your Service Cloud certification, so don't overdo it, but nevertheless, never underestimate the reports and dashboards. What should you do next? Of course, go into Trailhead, check out the service metrics, interview and ask friends. I did that quite a few. I asked friends who work in service centers. I asked friends who are on every similar level of a service center, what they do, what is their job, how does their job look like, what is their pain points. Do your own make-believe projects. Maybe set up your own service center for yourself, so your service center for your kids to complain about the food you made, or your partner who complains about the dinner you made late, or as in my case, why I do a call at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And lastly, go on to Focus on Force. If you haven't checked that out, great resources, a lot of great material to study for every certification and learn a lot about Salesforce. So I want to conclude here. Reports and dashboard make Salesforce and therefore your Service Cloud implementation magic, because this way you can make better decisions and optimize your company and know what's really going on besides gut feeling. With that, I already conclude my presentation for today. I know it was a rather short one, but it's only 5% of the overall certification, and I'm pretty sure you know how to build reports and dashboards yourself already by this time. I'm looking forward to all your questions and feedback. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Johan. We have a question. What is Net Promoter Score?
Net Promoter Score is an easy question we ask our customers. How likely is it you would recommend our company to your friend? And it's a number from 1 to 10.
Okay.
And 1 to 6 means they will probably not recommend us, and 7 to 10 means yes, they will probably recommend us.
Okay, we do have one more question. Question related live chat agent setup. Is it same process as Classic to configure live agent into Lightning Service Console app?
Yes. It's exactly the same.
Okay. One more question. Is lead management same as case management?
From the concept, it's pretty similar, yes.
Okay.
And opportunity management is always, again, the same. It's you follow a certain process, and the process is usually controlled by a list field.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Johan, for such an insightful session. I would request Meera and Hasti to come on camera. Okay, there's one more question. Can you share a little bit how Einstein's recommendation helped the CSA to improve?
Oh, okay.
Louis.
Yes. Okay. I'm a big fan of Einstein recommendations, but it's something which needs a little bit more. So what you do is Einstein recommendation. You feed it, let's say, all your data from 10 fields from your case. For example, which team was working on the case, what was the case resolution time of closed cases, together with the CSAT score. And then Einstein recommendations comes back and lets you know what to do next with your and can build models to optimize. But this is not something you should do right at the beginning. It's a pretty tough topic, I would say. Honestly, I never saw a company in my experience getting it done properly. I don't know about the others. Anybody? Mera, have you seen it?
No, Johan.
So it's all all these but never actually happen. Like diet, like sport. Can I speak so it will be faster? What do you mean? Yeah, maybe chat another time after.
Yeah, maybe I'll make him a presenter, so that would help. Check, Louis, if you can speak on. Meanwhile, I'll request Meera and Hasti to come on camera so that we can have a screenshot of all us together, be it virtually.
Oh, I'm so jealous about Mera's setup here in the background. Looks so much better than mine.
I think Louis is. We have lost Louis, I suppose. Hasti, are you there? Let me quickly connect with Hasti over WhatsApp. I think. Okay, Louis, I have given you this rights, but I'm not sure why. Maybe you can drop in your question so that would help Johan to answer.
I think it will. Also, setting up Einstein recommendations is something which would call for its own whole session. I would say, Mera, or have you done? It's quite a complex topic.
Yeah, I agree with you, Johan.
Have a screen. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Johan and Meera, for such a lovely session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you, Kathy, for the opportunity. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a good
Johan.
day.
Bye.